where we will identify what we as a board or you as a board want maintained. At that point, there'll be something. I looked at what you currently have, and it does not identify by policy or regulation that a call log is required. It was therefore my assumption that my responsibility was to review the bill and look for its reasonableness, since you did not have a call log identified. Can it be put in place? Absolutely. Is it required to be put in place? I don't know how to respond to that, in that
Yes.
I know that the regulations say there should be some form of a call log, i.e. when the individual in the district is reaching out, that there should be some type of record that can be used to verify when the bill comes in. However, your policy does not require that, and therefore it was my assumption, which I'll be honest with, I made the wrong assumption, so be it. But my assumption is my responsibility is to review the reasonableness of what comes in.
I'm just concerned when I'm looking at July bill totaling $13,000 for 1 month. When the previous bills through other months are normally $3,000, $4,000 per month. And I have to question, and I would like for you to help provide me some information to help understand what some of these tasks are, as well as looking at the August bill and seeing another charge of $12,000. And I'm concerned because...
I will be glad to get what information I can to you.
Thank you.
I will request from the solicitor a more detailed, if possible, explanation for the items that you have in question. If you could mark the items in specifics that you would like to
I'll give you the
have me
whole
get
thing. I got my notes in red. I'll give you the whole thing.
and I will give that to the solicitor and ask him to provide additional detail if that's possible.
One other thing, I know that Mr. McConnell, you did state back, I believe in May, that you don't charge for copies, mileage, or postage at one of the meetings. And now I see on here copies, mileage, and postage. And I'm wondering...
I think that if you look at the contract, what I referenced was that there's frequently times that I have not charged for copies, mileage, and postage. The contract has always provided that the firm was reimbursed for copies, mileage, and postage. But we frequently didn't charge for it. But as to number one, you made a statement that is incorrect, and you have explained to you several times by Mr. Iacovelli particularly that the accountability regulations, regulations that you make
didn't want to
reference.
give me the bills.
No.
Go ahead. No,
The
you did. I
accounting-
got the email. Good. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
That the accountability, you made reference to the fact that the board is violating the regulations.
Yes.
It is not violating the regulations. The regulations say that you are only required to keep a log if your legal expenses are over a certain percentage of the statewide average. And as Mr. Iacovelli has gone through several times and explained, your legal expenses are significantly below that number. And therefore, the district is not required by the regulations to keep a lot. And however, it is up to this board to decide what it wants. And for the '94 to today, all the years that I have served this board, I have always offered and always made it clear that I will provide this board any information or documentation in any form that it desires. And it has never not gotten whatever information it desires in the form that it requires of me, number one. Number two, on the issue of what you described as multiple tasks, there are board members, including Mr. Oberg, who were present during the entire time that you described, during negotiations. And one of the reasons that traditionally the legal expenses with any school district will increase from any given year or month will frequently be because of two major items. One typically being negotiations, which is what you're pointing out, and the other will typically be litigation. In this instance, the prime items you're referring to, I think, and the ones you quoted were negotiations. And I'll be happy, either on phone, or email, or in any format that you'd like to answer any question or provide any documentation or any further explanation that you like. And if the board, at various times over the length of my service to the board, they have asked for the bill to be described in different formats, and I'll obviously be happy to provide it to the board in any format that it likes. Frequently, though, what will happen will be, particularly, I'll give an example. I was here on a matter involving special services. When I came here, the superintendent saw that I was here, and superintendent pulled rank, if you will, and decided that he was going to change my schedule a little bit and had me address a different matter. That time period that I would have spent here in the building would have been attributed from the time that I was working in the building, for instance. If we dealt with 4 different items, it would address those 4 different items with an ending time.
Thank you.
And just as an aside, I have never, without the direction of either the chief school administrator or the business administrator, I have never worked on any project in the district unless there was specific direction from the board or the board president. And there have been various times where particularly where the chief school administrator has directed me to work with the specific department head on specific projects. Speaking of the special services director, for instance. But my contact point is always through the superintendent.
Thank you. Mr. Wilbur?
You're welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
One last request.
Yes,
May I
ma'am.
have copies of all of the May and June audio tapes?
Of the board meeting?
Yes, please. Thank you. So that's all.
May and June. Okay.
page 8. What project is that that's being used? The professional services.
Beetzel,
Yeah.
they are involved with the middle school window project. They're
Okay.
involved with the cafeteria line project. They're involved with the high school window project. Off the top of my head, they're the ones that I remember that they've
Okay,
been
well,
directly involved with.
That's good enough, I just wanted to know. What were they doing?
That's a good question. And part of
I see the
executive,
number next to it.
in executive session, there is an item that I would like to speak to the board about.
Okay.
Because it's a contractual issue.
Yeah.
Just real quick. Hess Corporation supplies utilities.
Through the competitive purchasing
Is
that
that
we're
gas?
involved with,
Is that just gas or just electric?
I believe it's Hess's gas.
Okay.
I believe on the electric, we are, I'm trying to remember who the,
Because there's two
service
utilities, there's a
provider.
Hess Corporation for 52, and then there's a PSE&G for 57.
yes,
Okay, so PSE&G supplying electric.
yes,
Hess
that's
supplying
my,
gas.
that's my understanding.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Avery. Now, I'm going to turn the meeting over to the superintendent of schools, Dr. Johnson.
Okay, thank you very much. On page 4, number 14, leaves of absence are so indicated. Resignations and retirements so indicated. Sixteen, substitutes. Seventeen, Farouk as secretary, director of curriculum. Number 18, educational assistant, Piper School. Number 19, another educational assistant, Intermediate School. Number 20, practicum hours, guidance counselor. Number 21 and 22, both correcting salaries predicated on appropriate information being submitted. Number 23, reappointment of an educational assistant, St. Cecilia, parochial school. 24, long-term sub, physical education, Franklin, Roosevelt. Number 25, long-term sub, Carson School. Number 26, educational assistant, assigned to Berlin Elementary.